financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is dealing with and helping your elderly parent. And so I have my elderly friends, Brian Small. Good morning.
Good morning, O Ancient One.
Texanesco.
You know, we were just talking last night with my wife. I'm just turned 60. How the hell did it get here? How did it get here? So I used to be young like Brian, and now I'm like getting closer to
Young like me. I'm 57 years old. Thank
57.
You. Thank you.
Oh my
Thank
God!
you.
I used to look young like you.
I bumped into my neighbors last night because they're snowbirds, so they're back from Arizona, and we were just talking on the driveway, and we're just, and we're talking. He's retired. He's a cardiologist. He's retired, and they're living in Arizona, and they're enjoying it, and we're talking about. And I'm just saying, how did we get this old? It's I mean, it goes fast. The kids got older.
It certainly beats the alternative.
No, it doesn't. Okay, you got one.
No, I think
wait. Let me ask you a question.
I like my
Let
age.
me ask you the question, Brian. You got one car ride left in you. Only one. Funeral home or nursing home?
Funeral home.
Oh, I'm gonna drive the track for a while.
You got one car ride left.
Funeral
I understand
Funeral
it.
home. Everyone says funeral, and I have to tend to agree.
Well, that part of it, I agree. But right now, the at our age, I certainly don't. I'm not thinking about my mortality.
My father-in-law, 54, with Alzheimer's. My dad, a horrible stroke at 61. My grandma, 98. My
history
brother
is
just
scary.
had a stroke. 61. He had a horrible. My older brother, not Jim, who you met. He was in the same nursing home bed, as my dad was in when he had his stroke.
That's very
at 61.
frightening.
Yeah. How old are you?
Do you
57.
Do you take a baby aspirin every day?
Every day, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's a good question.
You got to keep that blood flow.
The first question, where do you find the caregiver to give help? Okay, not the parking lot of the strip club.
No.
I am hoping that by the time that it happens to us, we're going to have those Elon Musk robots that'll be there to help take care of us. That's going to be the solution to the elderly population. You buy a robot that'll take you and take care of you and feed you and roll you over and take you to the bathroom. That's going to be
Okay,
the
no.
key.
Let's be a little more practical
What
here.
about now?
Let's talk about
I'm
right
moving
now.
with Brian.
You got mom and dad both have issues.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know everything that you
know
think
what,
about
though?
is designed around potentially doing Medicaid planning.
Yeah.
I want to talk about practical reality.
The
here.
reality is they would have a ton of money, but they have to help their stupid grandkids pay
No,
off their
forget it.
student
No,
loan debt.
No, stop that for a second. We've got mom who's got
Dementia.
and dad who's sick.
Got cancer.
Okay.
And combined, you got a whole body. Cancer, dementia, you got a whole body. The trouble is when one dies, the whole machine breaks down because now you only got half the person there.
But you need, okay, so not everyone, can afford to do planning. Not everyone can afford to have a licensed, certified caregiver come under contract. Because what is that? Run about $30,000 a month to have somebody 24 hours a day?
Very few people need 24/7. They just need that in the morning, get you up,
Maybe
get
you
you
to bed.
dressed,
Yeah.
get you in the shower because the sun can't wash mom's backside, that kind of stuff. But it's still $37 an hour. And if you don't pay that person, then where are you finding that lady that's going to come in and take care of you, right?
Where do you find that person, first of all?
Well, online it's caregiver.com, and then you're calling me because she stole all the money out of the bank account.
So where did you find the person?
The strip club.
You said no. You said don't go to the strip.
Well, if you go to the villages, you find all sorts of people down there. And I'm joking, but that's the reality. There's always a person that you can find. The nice lady at the end of the street, the caregiver.com. But you gotta be careful because the risk of financial exploitation is through the roof in those environments.
If they have
but there's a balancing act.
basically
Somebody
solely
needs
in
to.
control.
You need to find somebody to take care of your parents or take care of yourself, and you can't do it if you don't have the money.
Because you didn't save early.
Yeah, but
enough.
it doesn't matter what happened. They don't have the money.
Right.
So what do they do?
Move in with the kid.
The kid can't. The kid doesn't.
Listen. What's the answer? There is no answer. You sell the house, you have money. You move in assisted living, you have no money. There is no answer. You have to plan early to have money to pay for it late. Right? What is the solution? If your mom
I'm
was
asking
80, you know what you are. You don't have the money to pay. Medicaid is never going to pay for that stuff. And they just talked about an $880 million Medicaid cut. I was on TV the other day just because of that.
Where do you think that's going?
It's going to the all the other things that make America great. Apparently, that's what.
No,
But what are they cutting?
They don't know yet, and that's funny because they're not cutting one program. They're just cutting the budget to the states, right?
So every state's going to get less money.
Yeah, and then you have the Medicaid budget that's getting less. That means people are going to have less to have available to pay for in-home care. Hospitals are going to get less. Nursing homes are going to get less. They're going to be cutting out different things, but it's just going to shrink. Which is funny because 10,000 people a day are turning 65.
Right.
Everybody's going to... So all the old people that are voters don't want Medicaid going to the young people. And all the young people want Medicaid, but they don't want to pay for the old people. They should turn it into a Medicare part of the budget and just increase people's taxes across the board.
We won't really know where we come out on the budget till you get to the end.
Well, you can't increase taxes. Don't raise my taxes.
Right.
That's the whole problem. The Republican Party wants to cut spending and lower taxes.
Let's stop.
Doesn't really work.
I can turn every Republican into an instant liberal instantly when they come in my office, and I'll tell you how after the break.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
So last question, how old should your granddaughter be before she gets to spend the inheritance all on her own?
Thanks, Grandma. Ciao.
Yeah, thanks, Grandma.
35! You've worked hard your whole life to create a lasting legacy for your heirs. Let Samasco Law help you make the right decisions to protect the ones you love. Samasco Law, protecting what means most, because that's what we do.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
So, Pat, you were going to say, how are you going to turn a Republican into a liberal?
It's called unity across the aisle. The guy comes in, he's got all the red on, the red hat on, he's the biggest conservative in the world, and his wife just had a stroke and she's in the nursing home. And I can get him on Medicaid immediately. He'd turn into an...
You get him on Medicaid. Why do you get him on Medicaid? Why
because
are you doing
through
that?
elder law and through Medicaid planning, I can get people Medicaid. And everybody wants Medicaid.
Why do they want it?
Because they want to pay the nursing home bill or in-home care.
So that you're preserving your other assets to keep?
Yeah.
So in that
I paid all my life into the system. Now you're getting a government benefit to pay for care, which you would not normally have to be.
It doesn't matter if that person has $1 million.
Oh, it matters. You got to plan for it, and I know how to do it, and I know how to protect your money. But the point is, the guy that's bitching about all these government benefits going to people that don't deserve it, he's the first one in line in my office. He deserves it.
Everyone, no one else
doesn't.
does.
He's entitled to it. And it's not an entitlement program. It's supposed to be a program for the people that you need it. So every conservative needs it.
All right, so I totally agree with you. Let's forget about the politics for a second. And you still go back to Brian's question is, if you have someone that, let me back up earlier, okay? Let's talk about Dad still has the keys to the car.
Ooh.
What do you do with that problem? I don't want to just focus on Medicaid. Our parents are getting older. We run into these problems. I ran into this problem with my father. He was still driving. How do you stop him? When do you tell Dad and Mom they can't drive?
My dad had the horrible stroke. He comes home and he gets the keys and he drives and we can't find Dad. He said, "Where's Dad?" He's at the bar down the street. He comes home. My buddy follows him all the way home, pulls right in the driveway and smashes right into my side of my mom's car. Taking the keys away, it's taking the person's self-worth away, especially for guys. His whole life is driving to work, and it's a nightmare. What I typically do is tell the people to lose the keys, disable the car. It's broken. It's this. It's that. But that's the hardest part.
What I did with my father is all of a sudden I got a call on a Sunday night in February, and it was like 30 degrees out and snowing and raining, and he's in Algonac.
Yes.
And the police picked him up, and he was about to drive into the water.
Yes.
So I drove all the way out there, got him in the car, driving home. I left his car at the police station. I told the police department, the car's going to probably need to be here a week or so because Ford Credit will be coming to pick it up. And driving home, we didn't really talk about it. But the next day, I went to my dad's apartment, I brought him a bunch of groceries, and I said to him, I got good news and bad news. The good news is I got you everything you like to eat. The bad news is the police said you can't drive anymore.
Let me jump in here on that.
And he accepted that.
Yeah. Most
this happened
kids,
with my grandmother, too. My grandmother ended up in like Flint driving, and it was the end of it. We just took the car away, and that was it.
It happened then.
She complained, but she wasn't getting into a car again.
How about the 4 years before that you should have taken?
That's exactly where I was going.
And the kids say this. I hear it every day. Dad only drives to the Myers and back.
Guilty.
Because now then you have to drive to get the groceries, and you have to do this, and you have to do that.
For me, it was innocent. I used to meet my dad for breakfast. And then I would sometimes follow him home to make sure he drove fine back to his to his apartment. And I would come home and tell my wife, he can drive, he's fine. Because she would question me on it. When this happened, I got a call from West Bloomfield police because they couldn't even find it. They called West Bloomfield because that's where his license was.
Yeah.
West Bloomfield then looked it up and called me, and I said to him, well, why are you, how did you guys know to call me? He says, well, we've been picking your dad up all the time. He gets lost all the time.
So for
and it was like news to me.
The families out there that are going to be
should not have been
faced
driving.
with, well, yeah. So have one of those tracking systems in the car, and you have your phone, find your friend or whatever. Track the
that's a good
phone
solution
like
now.
you track your kids, or
See where
your
it's
wife
going.
would track you.
So put a little Apple
Whatever
little
it
tracker.
is, yeah.
Because like my dad couldn't use an Apple phone.
Same
He
thing.
had
They
have a
don't want to
flip phone.
give
Yeah, but
away
you
the-
don't need it. You can.
No, you just put it in the car.
Put the little thing like you chase your luggage. My luggage is in Switzerland and I'm in
That
Cleveland.
goes into.
Do they have those now where you can just put them like in the car?
Yeah, it's
and-
called an AirTag.
Yeah.
Apple. If you have an iPhone,
But he
Apple
doesn't
AirTag.
have to be associated with a phone in the car?
Nope.
No, I have them. No, you. It's like if you're going to get something stolen, you can hide it.
You
in
can
your-
you put it in your luggage so you know where your luggage is. It doesn't necessarily get you your
So
luggage
what
back.
you're
but
talking
And it
about.
talks back to your phone.
Yeah.
It doesn't talk to... yeah.
What you're doing is how can you extend out Dad's stay in the house? Which is if you got to run over the house every time Dad doesn't pick up the phone, it's a nightmare. So you get a camera in the house. What do you do if Dad walks out the front door and he's going to get lost in the subdivision? You put the Find Your Friend on the phone, or you put one of those bracelets on. When I'm lost, return home. In the car, the same thing. You're trying to extend out the life of Dad leaving his castle. They always never want. Staying home is the worst thing in the world for these people. It's lonely. It's isolated. There's no one to talk to. The walls start creeping in.
Yeah,
on
that's
them.
another solution there is how do you get Dad or Mom to go to independent living?
That's the
before
big
before they
problem.
get to nursing home. I ran into that problem. It was like, he was 89, and I finally convinced him to go over and look at a place.
Yeah.
And we looked at it, and he says, oh, this is
It's
pretty nice.
beautiful.
So at the end, we're leaving, and he says to the lady who was showing us this, what's the average age of your male residents? And she said 90. And he looked at me and said, what are we doing here?
I'm not old enough. You always say, there's a bunch of old, Brian, there's a bunch of old people here.
That was the end of the conversation for another year when I finally got him in there. But it's like that stubborn streak. But he was way happier there.
When are you going to go?
Well, it depends on how good the food is. I mean, my wife says she'll go soon.
Let's go right now.
Let's take a break.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
Time for announcements. I want to announce THAV GROSS has opened a new office downriver in the Horizon building on Eureka Road. So now we're in Flint, downriver, and also our home office in Bingham Farms. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. You can do it by Zoom conference, in the office, any way that works best for you. Just call 888-235-HELP or go to the website thavgross.com to sign up. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business law issues, elder law issues with Pat or Kelsey, disability issues with Jeff Kirschner. Again, sign up at lawandreality.com or thavgross.com or just call 888-235-HELP. Also, if you go to the website, you'll see there's free reports. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by Jeff Linden and myself. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And The Retiree's Guide to Social Security by Pat Samasco. I want to thank our sponsors, THAV GROSS, Samasco Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV Gross.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV Gross today, 888-235-HELP.
So we only have one last question for you. If your son passes away before you, do you want his share to go to his kids or your new daughter-in-law?
Talk about inheritance.
Yeah, sweetie, and I'm gonna spend it all on you.
The kids.
You've worked hard your whole life to create a lasting legacy for your heirs. Let Samasco Law help you make the right decisions to protect the ones you love. Samasco Law, protecting what means most, because that's what we do.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV Gross specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV Gross. Our firm will solve your problem.
All right, so we're back. You were going to say something.
Well, the house. You know, we're talking about moving your parents into senior living.
You can't sell the house. You got
Well,
Medicaid plan.
see, what
Yeah,
you're really
you have to
talking
sell the house.
Well, you're talking about how do we pay for it. Well, the house is always the biggest asset. Houses are protected if you have to go in the nursing home, but you got to sell the house to be able to have the funds to pay the assisted living, or you need to be able to get rid of the extra expenses that the house has.
Well, and also there's an
So what do you-
advantage.
but if you sell the house, then it's not the money's not protected.
That's when we use those special asset preservation trusts that protect the house, or you can sell the house and protect the money. But you have to do it how many years before you need 5 years before you need the nursing home. So you got to start when you're healthy, Ken.
Yeah, how do you know when you're going to need a nursing home?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
But
I mean, I'm 70.
Well, your dad was 91.
I'm pushing 71.
so-
Do I do it now?
A lot of
feel
people
great.
do.
Typical
A lot of people
situation
do.
though. Your dad was living alone and was moving into
Right.
a seniors facility. My father moved into a senior living facility
At what age?
82.
My father-in-law, 54.
But
you tell me when you guys
so
start.
the issue is the reason he moved is my mother passed. The house was too big for him, and it was time. And then
The reason he moved is that you wouldn't take him in.
No,
Yeah,
I have stairs.
Oh yeah.
Well,
that's
he's
that's
pretty
one of
independent
the.
anyway.
He is.
He would have never wanted to move in
he's
with you.
very independent. But it was too much. The house was too much. And then he said he was thinking about, well, maybe I'll live here for a couple more years. And I pointed out to him, I said, if you sell the house now, within 2 years of my mother passing, you get the $500,000 capital gains exclusion, versus if you own it for more than 2 years after your spouse passes, you only get $250,000.
So you sell it and you
Yeah,
save
you only
it.
get your share. You don't get her share.
You
Right.
sell it to save all the tax, just to give it to the nursing home.
Well, he's not in a nursing home. He's in
Well,
independent living.
How many years you need to plan for it?
5.
Or he just holds on to the house and still moves in, and then when he dies, you get a step
Well,
up
that
in
gets
basis.
into the planning. That's all part of the. And for my world, the house, you really want that to be the last thing to sell, because you want to be able to spend your other money, spend your retirement money first, then your bank account money, then your house money, which is a protected asset. But the key is, you have to look at what the heck's going on in the timing. Because people thinking, there was a big question yesterday, oh, I got Medicare. Medicare pays for in-home care. No, it don't. Medicare pays for nursing home. No, it don't. Doesn't pay for
up
anything.
to 100 days.
If you're getting rehab, and
Right.
the average is about 30, 40 days.
And they
of
cut
rehab.
you off on that rehab
absolutely.
instantly. I mean, it's probably even worse now, but
Absolutely.
it was like every time I've experienced that, it's been a battle.
So
of
you
how
asked the
quickly they're
question
cutting
about
off.
you and Bonnie. For you protecting the assets on a married couple, I can protect it immediately. I don't need 5 years for a married couple to protect the house
So as
and all
long
the
as
assets.
I'm married and I have a spouse, I don't have to do anything.
Yes.
Because I don't want. I don't want.
That's
I don't wanna do anything
that's
now.
an incorrect statement. In order to make sure that you can
I have a power of
do the
I need a
Medicaid
durable- I need a
planning,
durable
you
power
have
of
to have
attorney.
an existing estate plan or a durable, at least a
Right.
durable power of attorney with the right language in it.
And the right people. The thing is, the chances of
I
you
happen to have one.
you going to the nursing home is very slim because Bonnie's there to take care of you. You die.
You don't really
She's
know
already
Bonnie all that well.
She already
She's not-
booked the
She's
appointment.
not going to be a caregiver.
But it's the truth.
Ken's got a broken arm.
I'm
She's
not-
like wheeling him off to the nursing
I'm
home.
not
Yeah.
going to the nursing home anyway.
Nobody is.
I'm
That's
not.
why people don't have long-term care.
I have purchased a automatic implant that I've put in me that if anyone tries to take me to the nursing home, when I get within 800 feet of the entranceway, I have a massive aneurysm go off.
You
and
know,
I'm
the
done.
funny thing is, like,
I should maybe market
for your
that.
dad, leaving the house is going to the nursing home, whether it's the most beautiful assisted living or it's the nursing home. They see they're leaving. You're taking me. You're throwing me in a dungeon somewhere, and blah blah blah.
There's a big difference. When
they're
when he went to
gorgeous
independent
now.
living,
Love
that
it.
was nice.
Especially
and
as
he
a
had
guy,
friends. Yeah, and
It's
he
about
enjoyed
10
it.
to 1, probably 20 to 1, ladies to
yes,
men.
yes. It was
Free
cra-
meals
it was
every
crazy.
night and cookies.
But the nursing home was
The
not.
cookies
like that.
are all it does it.
Go to
He
different
ha-
nursing
He
homes.
instantly hated the nursing home.
Well,
but he was
it's,
in a much worse shape at the
Yeah.
point in time he was in
Supposed
the
to
nursing
be.
home. He stopped eating. That was
Yeah.
his remedy.
Good for him.
How about the parents' money?
Yeah.
How do you manage that when mom and dad are dad's still
In the 30
independent?
seconds are left.
Yeah.
What do you do about managing their money?
You protect it from the stripper who's going to be the caregiver or the pool boy. And I'm joking about that, but that's the biggest risk. You got to get the kid involved, in the trusted kid, to get involved and make sure when they get the call that their grandson's and arrested in Cancun, or the email scam or the lover boy scheme. You got to be able to protect that money because they need that money.
Effectively, you need to control it.
Yes.
And you're the only one who disperses it.
Yes,
That's
you got
what
to
gotta do.
monitor. You can have mom write the checks, but you got to monitor. But you got to make sure you're picking the right kid to do that.
You got to stay
It's
on
an
top of that.
individual plan for the individual.
But you've got to be cautious in every step of the way.
Absolutely.
Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.